get into this real quick. All right, so what do we need to do? We need to go ahead and answer some questions, legal questions for people who want to know about Social Security disability law. My pleasure / punishment tonight will be to answer questions for free about Social Security disability law. I am Attorney Walter Hnot, the most viewed, subscribed to, and clicked on disability attorney who works for over there it is. I forget which side stuff is on. For Disability Resolution Law Firm, I've owned that law firm for 12 plus years, going on 13 years. Bottom line is this: we're going to be doing Social Security disability questions. If you have Medicare questions, don't ask me. Call these guys. They will answer your Medicare questions. 339-226-6287. Ask them. All right, let's get into it. Social Security disability, SSDI, SSI. Here's how it works. I have to give you the pool rules before we begin. Okay, phone number to call, 407-279-1754. How does it work? When you call in, have your legal question ready. Don't give me a real name, give me a fake name. Don't go into story mode. You get 5 to 7 minutes. I can't give you perfect answers because I don't know your whole situation. You can't tell me your whole situation in a 1-second intro, and a 5-second intro, and a 10-second intro, and a 3-sentence intro. All right, now with that said, it is important that when you, okay, we're getting the first caller. All right. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yes, my question is concerning the children of the disabled.
Sure.
My son will be turning 18 in January during his senior year.
Okay.
And I know that it gets cut off at 18, but what can I do to make sure it goes through to he graduates?
So you're going to submit basically the academia expectations, like any additional courses, credits that have to be completed, or graduation dates to the SSA, and they'll extend it through that period. But ultimately, it sounds like your child is going to be going through the 5-step sequential process to be adjudicated to see if they're disabled under the adult rules. They'll go from the 3-step.
Well, he's not disabled. I am.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, so we're talking about auxiliary benefits. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, those are going to, cut off soon. Yeah. So you just submit the graduation date details and stuff like that. And then, at that point, you know what happens. Yeah. So
Do I just submit it to their office or?
yeah. So what you would do is you would get basically the documentation for the child from the school as to expected graduation date. And you're sure that's the graduation date, right? There's no missing, there's no quarters or credits that are missing, stuff like that.
Well, this will happen next January. I'm just trying to prepare myself because they're slow. So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically what you're going to do is get together the graduation details, forward it over to the SSA. Although I have the auxiliary benefits, do they continue beyond for the academia purposes? I have to check on that because, they're not like SSI, they're not like SSDI, transitionals, because these are child SSA auxiliary benefits. Let's see. Let me see if I can get a statute.
I'm a single parent, and I'm the one that's disabled, and so I get benefits to help with him.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I think I found it here. Yeah, it should be fine. He's full time, right?
Yeah, he'll be in high school still.
Okay.
I expect that they cut off after high school, that they don't continue like.
Well, it's 2 months after 19 is the longest they can go. So I mean that's that's the longest they can go. They're probably going to send out.
Still have to let them know, right? I mean,
it's preferable to get in front of it. They will send out sometimes 1372, advance notice of termination of child benefits. So if you look up SSA 1372, that's going to be your best bet for figuring out what they're looking for. But you do want to get the expected graduation date documentation together to submit to the local field office. That way they have it on file. And remember, put your social and his social on it. That way it's linked to both accounts.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful night,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Catch you later. Have fun.
All right.
Bye-bye. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and basically take the next caller shortly. I think I got through most of the rules that we normally use for this stuff. This is the next caller. Hold on. Okay, speakers on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Go ahead.
Hi, Walter. This is Mike.
Howdy, good sir.
I'd like to ask you a question. I'm going to be turning 63, and I'm on Social Security SSDI, and I've been on it for like the last 18 years. I live in New York, and I was thinking of going. My father left me a farm in North Carolina, 60 acres, and I was thinking of moving there. I'm not going to do the farm. I'm just going to lease out the crops, you know, and just live there. Would that be any problem?
So what you're talking about is the difference between ownership and rental versus you doing the income and it being income versus investment income. And doesn't sound like it would be an issue, but just as a heads up, you would be higher likelihood for being reviewed by CDI units because farms are a lot of work. And yes, you can rent it out. Yes, you can go through the process of that. But at the end of the day, farms are a lot of work. You know, I was working over the Christmas and New Year's holiday specifically on the family farm that we have, and farms are a lot of work. And when you have renters, they don't always keep up their side of the bargain, or if you have to keep up your side of the bargain and do certain things, like I said, it just farms are a lot of work. But yes, you are technically correct. Yeah.
I've owned it now for 10 years since my father passed.
Sure.
And I leased the land to my cousin. He tends a lot of farms.
Sure.
So I'm not going to do absolutely no work on that farm.
Yeah, if you got family.
Crops, you know, like this year they did cotton, you know, for 25.
Sure.
And sometimes they do soybeans. So it's just going to be, I'm just going to live in the house itself. I'm not doing no farming. I'm not doing nothing manual. I couldn't anyway, but it's just going to be, and it's only, I only get like 3,600 income from the farm. So by the time I pay everything, you know, just general getting people to do it, you know, just things around the house and stuff. It comes out of a wash anyway.
Yeah.
It's not a moneymaker or nothing.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you. I mean, you know, it's one of those gigs. Farms used to be more profitable. They're just not anymore. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it should be fine. Things to watch out for, big purchases on your end when it comes to tractors or stuff like that. Just be aware you're going to be more lined up for, like, what are your top 3 impairments? Like what is going to be the potential investigation angle that the government would be able to be using against you?
As far as equipment, I don't own no tractors, nothing, absolutely nothing, not even a lawnmower.
Sure. Okay.
You know, so it's not going to be any problems that way. I'm just saying because I'm moving out of state. That's the only thing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that totally should be fine. Shouldn't be an issue. Should be good to go. I think you'll have a very good time. Look, New York is a very cool place, but the tri-state area is obnoxiously expensive and politically it's moronic. So at the end of the day, going down to farmland, you're going to live a significantly better life. Yeah.
The only thing, like the house, you know, I've been trying to, you know, have work done by contractors, and being I'm not there, you know, it's very hard to have it done.
Yeah.
So I'm far from it being finished. So I don't even know when it's going to ever get done. It might not get done till this summer, or it might take another summer, another year.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But you know, you travel back from Florida to New Jersey, right?
Yeah, Florida, New Jersey, and then sometimes Maine. And you know, but you know, my goal is, I kind of realized that no matter what I do, no matter how hard I work as a disability attorney, no matter how many claims I win, and we've significantly limited the types of claims I take. We don't take a lot of people under 50 anymore. We're not taking nearly as many SSI people, things like that. But at the end of the day, I've realized that there's no way for me to make significant amounts of money in this field. And like, I don't even have a 401k. I don't have an IRA. I don't have any of those things. Like, I don't have a pension set up. So my future is not what I would call, you know, safe or set up or whatever. So the reality I look at is I have to have other investments and start really working on that, because unfortunately, the field of law that I'm in, well, it's great, you help a lot of people, but you are basically financially sacrificing your future every single year. And so that's why I've spent so much time working on other things to get them working, like the rental house next door. I have tons of video footage of me working on that. And basically, there's other investments and starting new shows. We're going to be having a singing competition show and stuff. But yeah, man, it's it's just one of those things where I've realized that I have to have a job, another
More than
industry.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a government pension plus
sure.
my SSDI, so
Yeah.
nothing. It doesn't go. No problem with that at all. So it's not that this would ever be a problem. I'm just saying because of out of state. I mean, one day, if I can, I'll give you a call. Maybe when you're coming from Florida to Jersey, you could see my farm and give me some suggestions on the house itself, because it's an old farmhouse. My grandfather built the house in 1935. So
sure.
I'm not too knowledgeable about it. I don't do anything,
Well, the good thing about 1900 houses is that most of them are adaptable when it comes to rebuilding them with stuff that you can buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, and like the local repair shop. But you get into the 1800s, 1700s, stuff like that. Those houses are very tricky because you have like nothing fits right. You know what I mean? Like how like when you go to buy lumber isn't like what it's supposed to be in actual size. It's that like shittier, smaller version of size. So when you get into like, 1800 houses, 1700 houses, and you get into the types of products they used, you have to build them or rebuild them or restore them in a totally different way. And so I was actually looking at a property in New Jersey that was attached to the farm. And, the bottom line was one of the big concerns, one of the big issues was that, it was, I think, a 1700s house / barn.
Yeah.
And man, that rebuilding those is a whole different gig. Like that is not usually a Home Depot gig. Like you got to figure out what they did and then what works with those products. And, you can hybridize it. You can use a mixture, but it is not like, you know what I mean? Like what I am used to when it comes to having to rebuild this other home that I already, I'm almost finished with.
I've started on the wood siding on the house. I've placed a third of the siding done. I've done the flooring in the kitchen and the bathroom because it, like the beams rotted.
Yeah.
And I've had contractors doing it, but unfortunately, because I am far away, sometimes they get dishonest and I have to get rid of them, and
well, that's the thing. People, they try to sell you that contractors are so good and contractors are so great. But what they don't realize is that, a lot of people also don't have experience with how this all works. But contractors give you almost as many problems as somebody you hired to come in and just do hourly work that you watch. And, it's just one of those things where, people have told me many times, just get a contractor to do it. I don't usually end up with what I believe would be contractor completion with a lot of contractors. I've had some that are very good, but a lot of them, there was like just issues. So I totally hear you on that. It's
and it's so expensive. So I wish I was capable of doing things that I'm not. But if I could, like you do, what I hear you say, you fix the farm and you do your house.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, my God, I wish I could, because everything is so expensive, and I pay through the nose for everything. And I have to stop once in a while, build up some more money, and then fix it. And live in New York is very expensive. So.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day too, like keep in mind, the thing is, if you can find, so what I've been using a little bit here and there is I go into like Facebook Marketplace, find hourly help, because if you can learn how to do it and you can explain what they have to do and they have some handyman abilities, when people know how to use different power tools and they've done enough of it, they can usually combine skills to like get it done. Especially if it's like molding or wall repair, where they're just doing sheetrock repair and stuff like that,
You know why I have always a licensed contractor and insured? Because I always say, if both SS7 says, "Oh, well, did you do the work?" or try to accuse me of doing the work, how can I do the work? I paid somebody to do the work. I have all receipts and everything.
What I always tell people too is
So,
take photos, and if you can, take a time-lapse video of people doing it.
well, it's 580 miles away, and it would be theoretically impossible if I'm here to do that work. Like to do a roof, to do the flooring and stuff. I wouldn't have the knowledge or the capabilities physically to do that. So
yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to keep you on the phone. Thank you for all your time. And like I said, I'll give you a call one day. I know you travel back and forth. If you ever can stop by, would be great if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to catch up with me. I'll probably announce at some point when I'm going to be heading back up to New Jersey. Catch up with me, and I'll try to pop over and see the farm. I grew up on a farm, so a lot of people when they talk to me about stuff, they're like, "Why does he seem kind of aggy? Agricultural?" That's because I grew up on it. That's the So, but yeah, definitely, I'll catch up and we'll rock and roll from there. Yeah.
Because I wanted to keep it because my grandfather, built that house, and it's been in the family 100 years, and I don't have the heart to get rid of it. Otherwise, I would just buy a place like in Florida and say, okay, I'll just go. But my conscience, I can't do it.
The only thing I would say is the only time you should ever sell, like a property like that, is if you sell it and retain like a trust interest where you get to live on it. But that's only, you have 2 pensions, so that's not your gig. You want to go ahead and keep it, upkeep it, and let it grow in worth. Yeah.
Right. Well, one time I was just going to keep the house and just sell the land, and I could always have the house and keep an acre or 2 acres just for myself. But I really didn't even want to do that. So
yeah, no, I hear. I wouldn't do that. I would retain. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that's going to be incredibly important to you is the capacity of freedom you have to be on a farm, and the difficulty they would have with investigating you by parking a car near you is going to be to your advantage.
It's beautiful. Well, as I'm getting older now, it's really, what are they going to do? You know what I mean? I'm already going to be 63 years old. What the hell? And if they looked at my medical records and everything, they could see I'm all busted up that way, and I got 4 herniations in my neck. My disc is shattered. So what are they going to tell me? They're going to heal.
Well, you might be surprised. Like, I've seen people that I was almost assured that they weren't going to investigate, and they investigate them. And then I got to go and, prep them, get them rolling, get them going in the right direction, stuff like that. Always be vigilant with protecting yourself, because you don't want, because remember, they have 3 options. They can go ahead and hit you with an administrative, notice, which is like a fine or a loss of the benefits. But what you really don't want is a civil or a criminal one, because if they take pictures of you doing, moving some hay, doing this, doing that, real quick.
No, there's no hay on that. That's just lease props, and they do that. So
okay.
I don't do nothing physical. I don't even put up blinds. I have them put. I have somebody come even to my place in New York and put blinds up. I do absolutely nothing physically.
Excellent. Well, sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to catch you a little bit later, but you have a wonderful, wonderful night, okay?
Thank you, sir. You have a blessed evening.
You too.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Perfect. We're going to take another caller. I'm researching a little bit right now, like mini orbital sanders, because ... I have these tiny little areas I need to sand. It would just be easier if I had like a little mini orbital sander. Let me see. Lithium ion brushless cordless random orbital. Yep. Okay, cool. So with that said, ... let me see if we can get another caller real quick to go ahead and answer questions about Social Security disability law. Let's see if we can get going. No callers. Remember, whoa, wow, howdy, kosher. Very cool. Member for 12 months. Appreciation membership. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you, good sir. Good to see you there. Howdy. Please also, everybody, be kind to Kosher. Kosher puts up with a level of shit not seen by, I would say, DEFCON 5. He is surviving the entourage of mean questions and things like that, and he does really well with some snarky ass people. So if you do get a chance to give a thank you and a big 5-star, big heads up, big super thank you please, keep in your prayers Kosher, because he puts up with a lot of shit. He puts up with a significant amount of shit. I see a question here, the forgotten son, question about children of the disabled. My son, we got another caller. Let me take this call and then we'll go back to that one. Speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question. I've been on Social Security since last April, Social Security Disability Insurance. Whenever they put my claim in, they didn't go back very far. I had some stuff come up back in 23. Anyway, I had where they had gotten with the attorney. They had a hearing December 10th, and then they got back a hold of me the other day about that Social Security wanted to know more about some cardiac stuff that was going on. Is that normal?
Wait, okay.
So like after a hearing for them to do that?
I feel like I lost you a little bit there. So you had a hearing, you were found disabled, then they got back to you about an aspect of how you were disabled. Did the court get back to you? Did your attorney get back to you? Give me some details.
Okay. Do I tell you like what happened, like as far as like medically, or do I not say anything about it?
No, I mean you can. I don't know what your name is or any of that stuff, and just keep doing that. So give me some detail, because I need more details on this. Yeah.
Okay. I had a quadruple bypass in August of 23.
Okay.
I was supposed to be able to go back to work in November.
Okay.
I had my wound opened, and I dealt with wound care for like 8 months. So they never did let me go back to work. I was under doctor's care.
Okay.
I had put in for Social Security Disability. The people that I had used, well, they only put in for my pulmonary, and they only put in like the hospital where I had the bypass surgery done and the cardiologist. They didn't use none of the other stuff. Well, whenever I got put on the Social Security Disability Insurance, I had called them back and said, hey, how come none of this other stuff was used? Well, at that point, then they wanted to go back on everything. And like I said, I had been put on the Social Security Disability Insurance. Okay, at that point, then they wanted to go back on everything, use all the information, and then I had the hearing on the 10th of December, and then they called me again the other day, and they're like, because I haven't heard nothing back yet, from the hearing, and they're like, well, Social Security wants to know more about what's going on with your heart.
Yeah, so are they sending you a CDR or a CEME, a consultative examiner?
No, because that's what I asked her. I said, well, what do you need? And she's like, we're just waiting on some more information to come in. Okay. Whenever I had the sternal wound, they it opened up down to the wires. They went in, they took the 3 wires out, left me with 3. I got non-union of the sternum, and I got osteomyelitis after I came out of surgery.
Okay.
And at that point, nobody will mess with me. My doctors will not mess with me. My cardiologist has not messed with me. Nobody's done nothing. Like I had to go to the city here and go see a doctor up there who is a surgical doctor to inform my infectious disease doctor of what was going on, because none of them at that other hospital will have anything to do with me.
Okay, so going back to the SSA situation, because this sounds a little sloppy, they reach out, your attorney reaches out to you, you say, what do you need? They say, well, they're just trying to figure things out. Did they request anything from you?
No, all I did was I got a hold of everybody and gave them all permission for everybody to get whatever they needed. And this is what I'm not understanding at this point, is because
so you didn't
if I give
827.
everybody permission,
Right.
They said the judge had to subpoena the hospital for more records.
Okay.
And it's like,
Okay, so what this sounds
But
like
then-
is the judge requested an 827, whether E or paper form, to have a HIPAA to send out to medical facilities. And then from there, the judge, looking for additional information because the attorney wasn't able to collect it before the hearing, the judge is requesting that medical documentation be submitted into the record, which goes into the F folder. So, yeah, I mean, the judge is just going to use this, send it over to the writer, and then make a decision based off of it. But this happens when the judge does what's called leaving the record open for 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, whatever. When they do that, they basically create a situation where they can submit additional documents or allow additional documents to be submitted into the record. This happens, doesn't happen all the time, but it sounds like your attorney just didn't have access to, or didn't know, or didn't try to obtain those records. So what I would say is this: it's okay. It's not like freak out time, but it is also, I mean, there are things you should be doing, but I try not to like step on other people's attorneys. But a lot of people tend to have disability attorneys that don't do too much. So what is the question you really want to ask me? Because I feel like there's a follow-up to this. Yeah.
That's the main question, because I was, whenever I got off the phone with the attorney, he's like, oh, we got this, I haven't never, I mean, these attorneys, I mean, I really myself personally have not liked them. I have not, I feel like a lot of times they have let me down.
Okay.
I can't really get them to do a lot. But my main question was, now that Social Security is getting back in on it and saying, hey, we want to know more about what's going on with the heart. But that's the deal, is that whenever I never said anything to the surgical doctors, okay, like I'm going to sue you or nothing like that. But whenever I told them that I wanted a second opinion, they're all in the same hospital. They're all in the same network. And at that point, the cardiologist really didn't want to mess with me. Nobody wanted to mess with me. So what I'm in process of doing now is trying to get a different cardiologist set up, because I've been having some problems, but I can't get through to nobody up there to do anything. At that point, though, that they're saying that, well, Social Security wants to know more about your heart, but I've already told them all the stuff that's going on, but all I have is just what I have as far as the heart. They've been messing more with the sternal non-union, the infection, all this kind of stuff. I have COPD. I'm at 47%. I sleep with a BiPAP machine. I do all this stuff. They got multi-level spondylosis. They had me in physical therapy, and that's why I said it's like, and my doctors are going, well, how come the cardiologist isn't a part of this? And I can't explain to them because the healthcare system just really sucks. I don't know what to tell anybody.
Okay, so
I don't know what to
why
do
haven't
with
you gone
Social Security
to?
as far as the cardiologist?
All right, we got to dial down the emotion, because remember, this is not a game of emotion.
Yeah.
This is a game of hard tactics
Yeah.
and trial. Yeah. So, okay, what you should be doing is getting a specialist to write an RFC, since the record is still open, and submitting that residual functional capacity form. What you should be doing, if you're worried that you don't have this in the bag, go get a vocational expert to quickly write up an opinion letter as to your current standing. Could be neutral, could be not for you, could be work preclusive for you. What you should be doing is, basically, if you have emergency medical treatment, or, if you are going to be adding a specialist, get immediate treatment to get that additional documentation in, because you have an open record. Sounds like the judge is searching for something. The judge might accept additional records. If you aren't sure if you're gonna, win this thing, you should be doing what you can to do a win,
Yeah. I mean, because it's like I got so much going on, and it's just like with the heart thing, though, with that being their main thing, is because, see, my doctor, the last time I seen her was in October. She took off and moved to Minnesota. She had done a few, some blood work, and she had done an ultrasound on my carotid arteries, but then nobody ever called me back to find out. And I tried to call them to find out, and I can't get anybody to call me back. And that's why I said at this point, before this was even coming up, I'm waiting right now to see my primary care to get transferred up to a different town where my pulmonology is, to get my cardiologist moved up to there.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, what's happening to you is not super uncommon, so let it roll.
Okay.
But if you want to do things to increase your likelihood chance of winning, RFC letters, opinion, your work inclusive, vocational expert letters, adding additional specialists and submitting the reports, stuff like that. But remember, if they've already called, I mean, how long ago was your hearing?
That hearing was December 10th.
Then you don't have time. Then you don't have time. They're going to close this thing out within the next 10 days, and the writer's going to have it and be working on it from there. So, I mean, they'll have the medical records by this week, next week, whatever. So your claim kind of is what it is at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said everything is just like, but that's like the only thing with all of it is just, it's like, I'm supposed to have another hearing, and it's supposed to be with Social Security, so at that point,
Are you supposed to have another hearing? Did they say and schedule you for an additional hearing?
No, that's what they said. They're supposed to have another hearing, but it's supposed to be with Social Security.
No. So you have another meeting. It might be a pre-effectuation review, but did they schedule you for another hearing before that judge?
I'm not sure if it's the same judge. All I know is that she called me the other day, like the week before last, and she said that Social Security said that they wanted to have another hearing. And I'm like, well, are we going to Social Security? Well, see, she's out of Florida. And
no, I get it. It's going to be basically telephonic or video telephonic. But like, did they actually schedule another? Because remember, what they normally do is they buy the records, send it to the writer, and then the writer writes up the decision that the judge wants it to go in the direction of. So usually they don't do another hearing unless there's a reason to do it, like where your testimony wasn't proper, or they lost the recording, or whatever. So is there any reason other than they didn't have the medical documentation to, because remember, that doesn't require another hearing. That just requires the medical facility to send it over, because your testimony isn't based off of missing medical documentation.
Right. But see, that's what I was under the understanding of. But when she called me last week, she said that Social Security wanted to have another hearing, that something to do with the heart. And I'm like, okay, so, what do I need to do? And she's like, oh, you don't need to do anything. I'm getting all these records and stuff, and then we'll have the hearing. I will, she said she would email me the time and the day.
Normally what they do is they send out a DDS, supplemental cardiac questionnaire. And if they have even more questions, they'll get an ME to review basically what you submit to them and the medical records they've obtained from the medical facilities. So maybe this judge is just doing a little bit differently than most judges, but that's usually how they do it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of worried about it, because it's like, with being on the Social Security disability insurance, I didn't want to get knocked off of everything over them not having all my stuff together like they should have to begin with.
Yeah, I get it. No, I hear you. But you got to remember too, like if the judge did, an open record, the judge is trying to fix this, which is fine. It's just, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But you should be fine. Okay. But I can't promise it's going to go any which way, because I just don't know what's going on in the claim. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a freaking dramatic is what it is, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Well,
gives me a little bit more confidence in it.
Yeah. Well, I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, madam. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect, everybody. We have reached the 30-minute mark, and we do this for about 30 minutes. I will catch you all on Monday. That's tomorrow. I will be working my butt off. I will be tired. I will be a little cranky too. So I hope all is well. Please have a wonderful, wonderful night. Please remember, if I helped you out, to go over to Google, type in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida, and throw some stars up there. Also, if you have Medicare questions, give them a call here, 339-226-6287. Attorney Walter Hnot, America's most viewed, subscribed to, clicked on Disability Attorney. I'll catch you a little bit later, and we'll go from there. Remember, 30-minute, 60-minute private sessions, mini contract below. Thanks so much. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.